Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Titan Sports. I'm Oscar Rodriguez.
Good to see you guys again. I'm Enrique Medina.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Ethan Michael.
And I'm Alex Granados. We're here to get the ball rolling to provide you with your weekly sports updates. Welcome to Titan Sports.
The first domino has fallen in NFL free agency. Former Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Derek Carr will sign with the New Orleans Saints for the 2023 season. Carr and the Saints have agreed on a 4-year deal contract of worth $150 million with $60 million fully guaranteed at signing.
After enduring their first losing season in 6 years, the Saints hold strong hopes in returning to the playoff contention this coming season. Carr's addition to the Saints seeks to build stability with the team's offense and also makes them an NFC South favorite.
The Saints were among one of the 3 teams to pursue Carr this past month, the other 2 including the New York Jets and the Carolina Panthers.
Carr spent a total of 9 years with the Raiders. In that time, he was 4-time Pro Bowl selection and became widely known as the team's all-star passing leader. Through this past 22 season was not easy going for Carr, as the player just held to a 60% percentage from completing passes and threw a total of 14 interceptions.
In signing with the Saints, Carr is reunited with head coach Dennis Allen, who coached him during his 2014 rookie year before getting fired only after 4 games.
A legacy has been cemented at UFC 285. After a 3-year layoff, Jon Jones becomes the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion via submission.
After years of being teased with a move up to heavyweight, Jones' plan finally came to fruition.
Ciryl Gane, who was seen as the best contender and most skilled in the division by many, was dominated by Jones in the first round of the fight.
Jones never lost control and quickly made Gane tap with a guillotine choke in just 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Jon Jones' first title defense will come against former champ Stipe Miocic in July.
In the co-main event of UFC 285, the second longest women's title reign has come to a shocking end. Valentina Shevchenko had defended her flyweight title 7 times and had not lost since 2017 until now.
Alex Grasso dethroned Shevchenko by submission and has taken the title of women's flyweight champion. Grasso, who debuted as a flyweight just 5 fights prior to the event, now creates UFC history.
Mexico, a country of fighters, now has 3 UFC champions. With this win, Grasso becomes the first Mexican-born UFC women's champion.
All-star guard for the Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant, has been suspended by his own team with no set to return for his timetable.
Morant has drawn a lot of attention after a flashing gun on an Instagram live video while at a nightclub in Glendale, Colorado. The 23-year-old is now being investigated by the Glendale Police Department.
While Colorado is an open carry state, there are laws in place against having guns while drinking alcohol. Though the video doesn't show the all-star drinking himself, he is surrounded by the substance on tables and others enjoying cocktails.
Even if he's in charge by the GPD, Morant is still being investigated by the Grizzlies and their chartered airline, Champion Airs, for having a firearm in his possession. It is against the team's policy to carry any firearms on their planes.
While going on flights, teams are still required to follow TSA regulations. The TSA rules require passengers to declare all firearms they carry and unload them in a locked, secured case.
This gun controversy is just coming days after an allegation of Morant fighting a 17-year-old during a pickup game that took place at his house last summer. Morant has not been charged with any crimes but has now been investigated for 3 separate incidents within the last month.
Memphis' franchise player took full ownership of the video and apologized, saying, quote, "I take full responsibility for my actions last night. I'm going to take some time away and get help working on learning how to better my methods dealing with stress, my overall being," end quote.
NCAA star and 13-year pro Jalen Rose dealt with fame as a teenager for playing during Michigan's Fab 5 team. He spoke from a place of experience and understanding, quote, "This next step is recovery, and I believe he's on that path," end quote.
Trash talk usually comes with being a great player. All-time greats like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Kevin Garnett, and Gary Payton are prime examples of guys who gain energy after talking smack with other players, though it has become less common amongst players today.
There are only a few throwback stars carrying on the tradition of talking trash, such as, of course, Joel Embiid, John Morant, and Jimmy Butler. In last year's Western Conference semifinal series between the Dallas Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns, the Mavs stole the show, finishing the series with a 33-point closeout game.
Last Sunday's matchup held show-stopping drama with Kevin Durant and Kyrie stirring up the pot between the Suns and the Mavs. At the end of the game, MVP candidate Luka Doncic had the ball with 11 seconds left on the clock with his team down 2. Despite having enough space, Doncic missed a game-tying layup, and the game was shortly over. After that, All-Star guard Devin Booker started talking trash towards Doncic, and the two had to be separated.
Both players expressed how appropriate their exchange actually was. Booker told reporters after the game, quote, "It's just two competitors going at it. Everybody speaks on how friendly the NBA is right now, and I don't like it. I have no problem with Luka on and off the court, but when we're competing, end quote.
Luka doubled down on the energy between them being rooted in competition, saying, quote, "It's all good, just next time don't wait until there's 3 seconds left to talk," end quote. Perhaps there is still hope for fans who miss the competitive nature amongst players in the NBA.
UCLA has been climbing up the leaderboard in the Associated Press men's top 25 basketball rankings. The team has passed teams like Kansas and taken the number 2 spot with a 27-4 record, right below Houston, who holds first place, ranking at 29 wins and 2 losses.
Houston held tight to the number 1 spot for 3 consecutive weeks, while the Bruins were able to rise 2 spots following their 10-game winning streak.
Texas A&M has been claimed as the week's biggest climber after jumping 6 spots to number 18. This is the first season the Aggies have been ranked in 5 years.
Prior to this season, Houston hasn't held the first place rank since their season 1983. Now, Houston holds 58 of the 61 first place votes, with the other 3 points going to UCLA in second place.
Providence, Maryland, and Pittsburgh say their farewells as they have dropped out this week. Next week's rankings are the final edition for the 2022-23 season.
And now on to Titan Timeline.
Cal State Fullerton's women's water polo team won both of their games this weekend against Whittier and Westcliff, improving their score to 9-10 for this season.
CSUF held their own against Westcliff, displaying an incredible comeback in the second half of the game.
Titans were able to come back from being down 4-1 in the first 2 quarters, with Delaney Wilder bringing the game to a 4-4 tie in the third quarter.
Similar to the game against Westcliff, Titans experienced a rough start against Whittier, but this minor setback would prove to be nothing, as they had a huge comeback after being down 5-0 at halftime. Gabriel Zaretsky kickstarted the Titans' winning drive after scoring their first goal in the third quarter of the game.
After an exciting back-and-forth game, Titans ended with a winning score of 10-9, with player Kylie Corwin breaking the nail-biting tie in the final 10 seconds of the game.
The Titans are now heading into the Big West play, starting off with a home game against Long Beach State Friday at 6 p.m. All right, stay tuned for our roundtable discussion coming up right after the break.
I have a question about
Hey everyone, and welcome back to our roundtable discussion. For our first topic, I want to throw it to Alex because I know he's a Saints fan. What do you think about Carr? You think it's a good signing, or would you prefer another quarterback?
I mean, as of right now, there's no better option. Technically Rodgers, but at this point, Derek Carr is the best fit for the Saints right now. It automatically puts them as the favorites in that division for sure. And also, I would say they're a contender in the NFC in general. And with the news with Rodgers, he might be going onto the AFC. besides Jalen Hurts, who's better than Derek Carr in the NFC right now? So right now they should be a favorite for playoff contention and in the NFC.
Taylor Heineke, bro. He's way better. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding, bro. I'm just being biased. But what do you think about it?
Wait, you're a Washington fan?
Yeah, Washington fan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We've done this show for like almost a year. You didn't know
my
I was a
bad. No,
Washington
I guess
fan?
I think Justin Fields is a little better.
He's biased too. He's a Bears fan. That's why.
No,
But
Justin
but
Fields
Justin
is nice,
Fields is
though.
going up, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I actually probably picked Justin Fields over Derek Carr. I'm sorry. But yeah. But I picked the Saints over the Bears. Oh, we'll see.
No, but what do you think, Ethan? You think he's worth 150 mil?
I don't know. It's hard, but it all depends on what they're trying to do. Because I know we talked to Alex before about the Saints, and he hinted at the best option for them is basically just tanking or just waiting for the draft next year. But if they're trying to win this year, which they kind of do have a really good shot in that division, Carr's the best bet. And Carr's one of those guys where he plays that playground style of play, so it's a little inefficient. But me personally, I like that, and he's not afraid of the moment. He's not afraid to fail, and he's not afraid of sticking up for his teammates, which I like.
Exactly. I was just going to say, like you mentioned right there, he's such a great leader. And the fact that it is a really weak division with Tom Brady retiring, of course, really anything can happen. So, I mean, we've seen it in the playoffs before in the NFL. I'm sorry to bring up all those disappointments in the past, but you never know what can happen in the NFL playoffs. So really, it's a weak division. I'm pretty sure they're the favorites. And really anything can happen in the playoffs. So we'll just have to wait and see.
And now with the Saints, he's going to have two things he didn't have with the Raiders: stability, front office, and a defense.
Right.
The Raiders, he never had a defense better than 20th. The Saints, the past couple of years, they've been top 10, even top 5. So the only question now is going to be, will they trade Michael Thomas, and is Kamara going to get suspended? He might get suspended by the league due to his Las Vegas incident a couple of years ago.
Right.
Also with Jameis Winston, you think they're going to let him go, or you think he's going to be sit back and play as a...
They've already announced they're going to cut him just because he is a cap casualty in order to sign Carr. So he's unfortunately going to be gone. Going to find a new home.
Do you want Michael Thomas?
Of course.
Okay.
One of the best receivers in the league, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
You think with Olave surprising everyone during his rookie season, you think Michael Thomas would be playing that number 2 role, or he's going to go back to his number 1 receiver?
No, Michael Thomas is definitely still the one. It's just he might be more expendable now just because they do have Olave and because of his contract situation. And past couple of years, he hasn't been necessarily healthy as often as they'd like. So, and next year, if they don't cut him this year, it's going to be next year because he will have the highest cap casualty in the league. I believe it's 64 million dead cap. So he's not going to be a Saint for that long, unfortunately.
What would you do with Michael Thomas personally this offseason?
Try to keep him for this year for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Try at least 1 year with Carr.
Of course, for sure.
Yeah, well, speaking of quarterbacks, I know I saw in the news that Jets were actually talking with Rodgers about having a trade going on. I'm actually excited for Rodgers playing with the Jets. Always not a big fan of like the Jets, but I kind of feel sad for them. They haven't been having like that winning year, and hopefully with Rodgers, I feel like they can actually do it with him, and he has the weapons with Garrett Wilson. So yeah.
Well, I think the Jets are one of my favorite teams to watch because they're so young. And when the team is young and they have caps, that's the most underrated part of the NFL, is when the teams have a young team and they're able to afford guys like Aaron Rodgers. So I think it's a perfect combo. I think the Jets, if they get Rodgers, could be deadly. I think they have one of the best defenses in the league. I love Sauce Gardner. I love what he's about. When he put the cheese head last season, that was sick.
He got fined for that, didn't he?
It was worth it. It was worth it.
Really nice.
But yeah, no, it should be interesting. I think the Jets were able to turn it around. That's the great thing about the NFL. You know, the next season they didn't win any games 2 seasons ago. Yes.
I think they probably only won
A few.
Yeah,
But then they were able to turn it around to win more games. And then if they get Aaron Rodgers, they'll be one of the favorites.
They really are just a quarterback away from being contenders. I mean, I know you got the Buffalo Bills in that division, but they've kind of showed time and time again, even though they have Josh Allen and this crazy offense and this really good defense, and in the postseason it just doesn't click. I would probably have a little bit more confidence in a Jets defense in the playoffs than I do a Buffalo Bills. As far as offense is concerned, who knows? We have to wait and see and see kind of how they do propel to that next step if they are able to get Aaron Rodgers.
What do you think about it, Alex?
I mean, Rodgers definitely fits with the Jets. It's just, do you want to rent that quarterback for maybe 2 years? You're uncertain about his future. Every offseason, am I going to retire? Am I not? That, and do you want to deal with that in the locker room with such a young core of great players? He's really inconsistent. As just just a player, not a player, as a person off the field. I mean, last year he had a couple new receivers. He spent the offseason not training with them, not trying to get that camaraderie with them. So do you really want to bring that into New York?
I think he was doing that, kind of just showing the organization that he didn't want to be there, and he just wanted to find a new place to play in. So, but yeah, but I want to go back to the NBA, where about like a lot of Devin Booker talking about this trash talking. I was watching the game when it happened with Luka, and it happened in the past too. So I always like that little new rivalry between Luka and Booker. Yeah,
You saw the meme that's been going around the last year of like when Luka's looking at Booker when he's up by 30 in the conference finals. So that's definitely weighing on Booker, and I think it's a bad look when he just talked trash, like Luka said, went down with 3 seconds left. But I love it. I think trash talk's important. I think guys are afraid to talk trash because as times change, that we become more politically correct, afraid to say things, afraid to get in trouble, afraid to lose business assets. And so I think guys, naturally they change. And sometimes the business partners that they have off the court last longer than they are with their teammates. So I think it's a different kind of game. But one thing I did want to talk to you guys about was Ja Morant, because it's unfortunate because I actually I thought they were gonna go far, the Grizzlies, because they had that chemistry. Say what you will about that team, they're trying to agitate a lot of players to become the villains of the league of shadow, and but what they were doing was that they were doing it together and they were building chemistry. That's the thing about the Suns and the Mavs, is that they don't have chemistry. They just built their teams, and that's what I think the Grizzlies had on them. But now I feel like the distractions that came with Ja, unfortunately, shot their season. I can't tell you. Can you guys tell me a time when the best player or the star player got fined by his team or suspended by his team, and then they won a championship? So I think their season's pretty much done, unfortunately. We don't know all the details about all the stuff that Ja has come out, but he is 23 years old. And if the other police work that's going around turns out he doesn't get charged for it, we got to remember that he's 23 years old, and you give a 23-year-old $200 million with that magnifying glass. You get in a position where you can't make the little mistakes that help you learn from the big mistakes. So he's learning a lesson right now with the big mistakes of having his shoe deal, $200 million contract, being one of the faces of the league. Hopefully he's able to turn it around, because he's Showtime. He's Showtime for sure, and he's probably the best dunker in the game right now. So he puts on a show. Kids look up to him, which is why you can't be putting guns out on videos. But yeah, hopefully he turns it around. What do you guys think of the situation?
Honestly, yeah, he is one of the most exciting new players in the league, and yeah, unfortunately he did that mistake. But like how you said, I know he's gonna learn from that mistake. He's not gonna do it again, hopefully. But yeah, man, like I like the Grizzlies. They're a young core again with Dylan Brooks. You got Jaren Jackson Jr. I like Jaren Jackson. I like him as a big man. I like him how he plays. But yeah, they're an exciting team, and like I like how you said that their NBA is kind of portraying them as like the villain of the league too. I see them like, I don't know if you guys seen that video when they always walk. I think they've done it constantly, right? When they walk out of the locker room and then like they dance or do something, and then everybody's hating on them. But I mean, I don't hate on it because it's like how you said, team chemistry. You're always trying to build like some activities with your team, with your teammates, just to have that build up that chemistry. And I feel like that's unique to them, because when like the Nets, I think, what was it, 2019, 2020, when they had
Harden, Kyrie.
No, they had
D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell, and then the bench was like electrifying. Yeah. They were like dancing, doing their little, stuff. You know, I mean, nobody was like talking smack about them when they're doing stuff, and like that's just how
they were never a threat.
Yeah, I know, but like I guess but
so now that the Grizzlies are out, I guess the Suns are the favorite now for sure. Who's coming out?
Well, the Grizzlies aren't now. Ja's just suspended for a couple games, so they'll still contend. But I still think the Warriors are in their head.
I'm scared of them.
Hey, will the Lakers beat the Warriors? Come on now.
One game.
Because the Warriors know what to do. They know what to do. Like last season, they once you get them in the playoffs, they know how to turn it around. They know what to do.
It's like the Chiefs, I guess, huh?
Do you guys think that Jordan Poole situation, like I said, when a player gets suspended by his own team, I mean, like when have they won? Maybe Dennis Rodman, I don't know. So do you guys think that you can tell there's something wrong, there's something different off about the Warriors from last season? Do you think that they're going to be able to turn it around?
I mean, it's just been a long season for them in general. they've been terrible on the road this year. That's the number one thing. They've still been trying to figure out their rotations. By next month, they're gonna have Gary Payton's back in the lineup. That's another defensive stopper. Right. So I think they know how to rest their players, get ready for the playoffs. I think it's all just trying to get ready and get the chemistry going for the playoffs.
Yeah, the Warriors are definitely a different team in the playoffs. So we're just gonna have to see how it's gonna be in the playoffs, and maybe who knows, they might get a championship run. But all right, Titans, that is all the time we have for you today. Thank you for joining us in this episode. I'm Oscar Rodriguez.
Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Enrique Medina.
See you again. I'm Alex Granados.
And I'm Ethan Michael. And hey, give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter if you haven't already at CSUF Titan Sports to keep you updated on all things sports. Catch you next week.